from the great country of Jamaica.
Center Point, Alabama.
Originally from Alabama, Marengo County.
Birmingham is a different place. I always kind of felt like Birmingham never really had its own identity, but you know, it's hometown. Raised around a lot of family, raised around a lot of friends. But I mean, it was, for me early on, I knew that it was something more outside of that city.
To be honest with you, I left when I was 10, and I only have some fleeting memories. It made me the man I am, even though I can't necessarily remember a childhood in Jamaica. I do remember that there's certain things that you have to have in you in order to survive in that country. A lot of people think it's just tropical paradise. Everybody's eating, you know, mangoes and coconuts on a beach somewhere, but it's a third world country. So you don't live in Jamaica, you survive in Jamaica. And I know that's one of the reasons why I'm here in the first place. My father, you know, wanted more, not just for himself, not just for his family, but he just wanted more out of life, and that's why he sought the opportunity, came here to America, and brought the rest of us with him.
Well, it was horrible. It was horrific times. We had a philosophy that is, you had anything that you enjoyed, whether it be the furniture and the food or whatever you will. You had to make it, catch it. You had to make it. If you didn't make it, you didn't catch it, or you didn't grow it, you didn't benefit from it. And so it was a struggle, and this was during the 40s and the 50s. And it was a segregated county and a state. And Alabama proved to be the worst or the most horrible state in the Union.
Well, I grew up in Albany, Georgia. And in Albany, it's a backwoods city. I mean, you have the blacks on one side, the whites on the other. Even to this day, it's a lot better. Don't get me wrong. It's not like you're, you know, living in your neck of the woods. It's not like Bull Connor. No, I'm saying Bull Connor back in the day. You know, it's not like that now.
I think I had to be about 16 years old with the police. Me and my mixed cousin was riding one evening, just on a Sunday, and they pulled us over. I ain't even search my cousin. They threw me down, ran the plates, talking about, we thought the car was stolen, but he get a pass because he mixed. We know the one on the passenger side, a nigga. Yeah. We gonna ask him where the drugs at. Anyway, they done me wrong.
I probably think back to a time when I was me, my cousin, a couple of friends. We were kind of just moving through our little town, and I remember we were walking through a little shopping center and came across this white cat. It was him and his girl, and we were probably 10, 11 years old or whatever. And before you know it, we were little kids about to fight a grown man, and it was just awful. Just him being kind of very disrespectful. Just very disrespectful off of nothing, and honestly just being surprised that a grown man would talk to a kid like that. That I would say that was my very first time really seeing it and recognizing what it was at the same time.
I'll never forget, one of my best friends, white dude, was like, yeah, my dad, you know, he and I were having a conversation, and he pointed at a car. Yeah, my dad called those nigger rigs. I'm like, okay, you know. Now coming from Jamaica to Albany, we don't really have, racism is so much different, but it's not, if you will. It's more of a class thing in Jamaica, but here in the States, it's just that color, right. You know. So it was different. It was eye-opening to me. It was an eye-opening experience, and even though I didn't have that experience growing up, still knowing that regardless, I'm a black man here in the South, in the country.
Those few weeks or months we were allowed to attend school. We had one little room, a building where all of the grades was taught, and the average one of us, and especially my family, we lived about 6 miles and had to walk, rain or shine, sneeze or snow, during the days that we were allowed to attend. Whereas my counterpart, they had new school buses, and they was drive right through and right by us, taking them to a school. So it was memorable times. You know, it was very, very, very difficult for Afro Americans, or as they call us, niggers or Negroes, you know, during their time. And then even the little stores, the mom and pop stores that you would shop at, if you had, you know, just a few coins or whatever, you had to walk in and lay it on the counter because you was considered such a horrible creatures that you wasn't allowed to just deposit the monies in you know, their hands and things. You was contagious.
Well, I served in the Army, and the Army is nothing but propaganda. I mean, I proudly served, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's something that I wanted to do from being a kid, and it's something that I did, and I enjoyed my experience there. However, as crazy as it sounds, when the first day that I arrived in boot camp in Fort Jackson, South Carolina, all of us new recruits were in a room, and they started playing "God Bless the USA," and they showed all these patriotic images from, you know, eagles landing on top of American flags that were mounted on top of Mount Rushmore as it overlooked the White House. So, you know, just that whole thing. And it's like you could. It was a drumbeat of using the emotion to get people to where they wanted them to be. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I was there too. I mean, we're all like, you know, we were ready to go out and just, it was like, rah, you know, but at the end of the day, I mean, there's certain symbols that especially my first week or so in the Army, as they wanted the indoctrination process. I mean, Fort Jackson is a home of TRADOC. That stands for training indoctrination. I mean, that's, you know, training and doctrine command. In other words, we want you to be part of this belief, and just that. I'll never forget that day in particular, because it was Lee Green was "God Bless the USA" was playing, and I mean, just the fervor, you could feel it in the room, you know, as far as the patriotic fervor for America.
I feel like in America we're exposed to propaganda every day. You assume that the government's on your side, you assume that the city's on your side, you assume that even your own people on your side, and you will hear things, see things that are kind of shifted to be one way, but it's not that at all.
Don't allow yourself to be drawn into what it is that you think you see and things, see, because it is a setup.
I think it's a difference in seeing it and realizing it. I think it's a big difference in seeing it and realizing it.
So let's start looking for what is reality as opposed to what we are being told. And see, we're being told one thing, and we see something else is being done.
The Ben Hated Clothing Company and the whole Ben Hated name comes from my career in rap. Started out in the early 90s. Just ventured out into the music business. Before I knew it, I fell in love with that. Had good success in music, but the one thing that I kind of realized outside of my passion for music was that the Ben Hated name was something that could be used for much more than a moniker of, you know, of a rap identity, you know, because everybody's been hated, you know, men, women, children, the pastor, you know, the CEO, the garbage man, you know, everybody got haters. You know, in this day and age, hater, been hated, you know what I'm saying? It's a everyday term. It's an everyday term. So I wanted to always take that. I felt like it was something more in that name, and I felt like the name at least had more to do outside of the music. So when it came time to, you know, just trying different business ventures, actually, you know what's funny? The first person that ever actually said something to me about putting it on a shirt was Scarface. Wow. I had some promotional T-shirts I gave to Face one time, and I was at the studio, and I had one on, and he was like, "Been hated. I've been hated." And I was just like, yeah. He was like, "Give me one of them shirts." And man, you know, I looked around, and I'm standing next to Scarface, and he got my shirt on, and he was like, "Man, you need to sell these." And I always kept that in the back of my head. I was like, I'm gonna do that one day. I have a family. I'm married. I have a daughter. And honestly, it kind of came to a point. I look at music in the early 2000s as being something like the the housing market before it crashed.
Yeah.
I kind of felt like that bubble was about to pop, and before the bubble popped, I wanted to figure out something else before I was stuck out there.
I was 21. My granddad used to tell me, "Hey son, what you doing? What you got?" So I never understood what he was saying really until I was about 30. When he asked me again, after I told him I had another great grandson for him, he said, "Son, what you got?" I said, "I got 4 kids,
Yeah.
a job, an old lady, 3 cars. That's it. That's all
Yeah.
I have." And I knew then when I answered that question, I wasn't happy with nothing. Went on, then I said that I wanted to be better than my daddy
Yeah.
and my father. So I said, "Hey, start me a foundation." And that's when I put it together, the plan that get together.
What's up?
Give me a barbershop. I've been doing that longer than it's legal.
Born in Jamaica, man, you survive. And there is no corporate, Jamaica like there's corporate America where you can go get a job. From I don't know if you've ever been to an island, or not just Jamaica, but any Caribbean island or any foreign country, the people that you see on the streets, they are the epitome of entrepreneurialism. Because if they don't get out there and sell whatever they're selling, they ain't eating. Their family's gonna struggle. So you have to get out there and sell your products, sell your wares. You see the people that if they make a straw hat for you, that's them translating their skills, ingenuity, and making a sale of it. Hey, buy this hat. That kind of thing. That's what I was saying when I was saying young. I wasn't there long enough to necessarily have a quote unquote childhood per se, but just seeing the hustle not only of my father but the people there. Eating, living, that kind of thing. How are you going to get your next meal? Well, I'm either going to climb that tree up and get it, or I'm going to starve. Well, I'm going to figure out a way to do it. How can I do it while I don't cut my feet up? There are different techniques, and that's has always stuck with me. So when I came here to America, I've always, how can I do this, but do it better, do it more efficiently, and do it for myself?
I think it's all the setbacks that we all have as men and women. You second guess yourself. We always our own worst critics. So, you had the conversations of, nah, this not gonna work, that's not gonna work, nobody's gonna believe that. But honestly, I think that I kind of pride myself on being a very creative person. But at the end of the day, I always knew that it was something in that been hated name. I just had to figure out the right avenue to use it. And again, I just kind of went back to the conversations of things I heard in the past. I remember years and years ago doing a record with Bubba Sparks. As soon as the beat come on, the first thing he said is "been hated." Man, I wish I would have thought of that name. So that did let me know that it was something in that. So I wanted to just make sure that whatever I did, I used that name, and the clothing line was something that I honestly felt like would be a good avenue for it, be a good billboard for it, because people walk around with it on their chest. You're pretty much telling the world, this is how I feel, or this is what I already know.
I couldn't even count the obstacles I went through, the trials and errors. But many, I'm still going through them as we speak.
Yeah.
Just being fairly young, black, trying to make it, get some wealth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Still going through them, man. That's all I can say. We probably gonna do that. When I say we, I mean any of us that's trying to get ahead.
The Nike slogan, man. As crazy as it is, just do it. A lot of people make excuses. Like, one of the things that I've done this year is I've eliminated the word try from my vocabulary. I don't say I'm trying to do this, or I'm gonna try. It's either I'm gonna do it, I'm working on it. You might come up with other words, but just they're never. I'm working on it means just that I'm working on it. But I'm trying. Anybody can try, but no, I'm working on it. I'm doing. And if you are, then you're lying to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Are you really working, or are you just saying that? No, I'm actively. These are the steps I'm taking to achieve that goal. And with Nike, it's just do it. I mean, I used to be just shut that and do it. You know, a lot of people, man, if you're gonna do it, do it. If not, shut up. I don't want to hear about it. Do it. You know, and there are a lot of people who lip service. Do it. And that's one thing I've always been. Just do it.
Main thing that he told me is don't quit. Don't stop. Don't quit. When business is booming, go harder. When business is slowing down, go harder than that. He said you're going to have peaks and valleys, but the main thing is that when we kind of run into obstacles, we get frustrated and we stop. The day you stop is the day it's over. And I don't think I'll ever forget when he said that.
I would encourage a self-control. And I would encourage anyone that is concerned, and especially a black young man, to look at nature, start taking a lesson from nature. To take time and understand that and figure out how to, benefit from your servant, what God made your servant as opposed to what man is telling you. They'll tell you to come, I'm going to give you a job and I'm going to pay you this. But they done lied from the beginning. If you get a job, they didn't pay you that because it all didn't come through your hands. So many deductions are taken before it even get to you. And then, so here again, we have to, fine tune ourselves through observation and through listening. And then look at the Creator and Lord. See, now if you get you a plot of land, that's what I encourage you, black man, regardless of whether it's swamp land, bio land, or wherever, you can so develop it, whereas it will you can raise you some vegetables, you can raise you some livestock, you can go deep in the ground and get you some water, and then you can grow, some timber, so everything that you need.
I really say pray, man. Pray to your God, man.
Yeah.
Your God, our God. Real talk. That's how I make it every day. I pray, man. I talk to him. I don't go to no church and spend no 10, 20, 30% or whatever I make,
Right.
But I do talk to my God, and that keep me focused, And other than that, man, just keep doing what you're doing, because whatever you do, and after you talk to him, it's going to be straight, it's going to be positive anyway.
First thing I'm going to say is do it the right way. Don't do it the back alley way. Don't do it the hood way. Do it the right way. Get your business right. File paperwork on your name. Set up a real company. Set up a real LLC. Sometimes I see people that have great ideas, and the thing that's messed up about it is executed poorly. Everything is, well, let me see if I can get somebody to do this for $50. If you're trying to make $1 million, you need to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
We take so many shortcuts to try to make something, and then at the end of the day, when you don't get the result that you were looking for, is because of how you executed your plan. So the main thing that I would say with any idea, make sure your execution is correct, and make sure your business is set up correct. There's another thing I'm gonna say too. When people start businesses, go invest in a real website. Go invest in a real website. Go invest in things that's gonna make sure that you are on the same playing field as everybody else.
Find a solution. We live in the Google/YouTube, generation. So there's no excuse for you not to be able to find the answer.
BenHated.com is the website. www.benhated, that's BenHated.com. BenHated is a lifestyle brand. BenHated is a movement. BenHated is a culture. Number one, BenHated is something that I told myself that I refuse to stop doing, regardless of if it's received, if it's not received. I'm gonna keep pushing that message out there because it's somebody that needs to hear it. Whether they need to hear it, see it, they see somebody else walking around with a shirt on, is something that's motivational, and at the same time, I think it's something for everyone. It's not a youth thing. It's not a old thing. It's a culture. But at the end of the day, it's motivation. From hate comes motivation. BenHated.com.
Well, one thing about it, I'm black, so I may not even be on Google. But yeah, Miles Barbershop, 2314 1st Street Northeast, Center Point, Alabama, 35215. You can have for Mike, mall, whatever. That's still my name. You know. Oh, you asked for Kelbo. Good to hear. Whole time. We should be now.
My first book is Desperately Seeking Exclusivity, and that kind of piggybacked into my second book. And next thing you know, it's not a trilogy. I've got 4 books in mind. The 2 have already been written, working on the third, and the fourth, the concept is in my mind. But basically, all of my books were written from the standpoint that they're all about people that I know, trying to find love. And, you know, being a black man who's going through, you know, a divorce and who's kids and, all of those things, that's where the genesis of my stories. Desperately Seeking Exclusivity, first book is about Ethan, Stacy, Walter, and Angel, and their stories in trying to find love in the different capacities of their lives. And Desperately Seeking Pleasure, well, it's just that. They're seeking pleasure. It takes place on a cruise ship, and you know, there are things that happen on cruise ships that we probably don't even know about. All those people mingling together, you know, some stuff goes on. But it you know, the story, it's not a sequel, if you will, but it does, you know, the same characters or some similar characters. I introduced a few new ones as well. Dante, Celeste, there are a couple out of North Carolina that are also on the cruise ship, and also another character, McCall. She's out of Houston. She's also on the cruise ship with her friends. So, you know, it's like I said, Desperately Seeking Pleasure. It's a little bit more adult than my first book, and I'm working on Desperately Seeking Clarity. Similar vibe, just that clarity. Same similar characters. My publishing company is Determined Books, and I can tell you it's a tedious process to publish a book. Writing, quite honestly, is a creative aspect of it, but to publish a book is the technical piece of it. You know, you find the right book size, the cover art, and then getting the book to the different formats, whether it's ebook. Now there are different ebook platforms. You have Kindle, you have Kobo, you have iBooks on for Apple devices, and then you have the paperback, then you have hardback, and you know all of those different sources have to be done right. You know, each Apple has their own different way. The paperback has to be done a different way, and that's what a publisher does, is making sure that the book, you take the creative work of the author, and then the editing process, the cover design, the cover art, all of the different things that go into making sure that the book is laid out properly for each one. And then on top of that, now you have to market the book. You can find me ChristopherMarkland.com. That's MarkLand, ChristopherMarkland.com, and that's where you'll find links to all of my social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Determined Books is the name of the publishing company. And if you're interested in, if you're an author out there, then you're interested in getting published, just get in touch with me. I'm always looking for new artists. If you are a published author already, I'm always trying to showcase other artists and, read your stuff and to help any author in the industry, because I know just how difficult it is to write a book and then to publish it. That's a whole nother monster.
I like to make lemonade stands so I can make money.
Okay.
So I can get rich and nobody can get richer than me.
Nobody get richer than you?
No.
Yeah, you want to get rich, huh?
Yes.
Okay, how you gonna do that?
By making my own money.
Making your own money.